Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Alright, hello and welcome everyone here to the Synergy League Season 1. It's the start of the playoffs for the European Division right now. It will be a best of 3, the quarterfinals here in the upper bracket. Complexity Gaming versus Album Sheet should be pretty good match, actually. Complexity been doing well. Album Sheet, I know we've cast a lot of. So looking forward to what they can pull out here. I'm Helium, with me, Blaze. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. Looking forward to this matchup here. Obviously, we have some really interesting characters amongst the teams here today. I mean, we've seen some really cool plays from Aloha Dance in the past. He's had a couple different teams where he's really been able to pull out some really cool plays, and I would definitely say the Moon Meander is another big playmaker there. He is one that a lot of people like to watch and see exactly what he can accomplish with his various builds on some interesting heroes. So I really think that seeing the unity of the teams as they progress to this point is really inspiring, and in general I'm really looking forward to see what they can pull out against one another in this best of 3.
Yeah, and I'm pretty glad that neither of them will be eliminated at this point, right? Like, they will still drop down. We'll get to see more Album Sheet or Complexity, depending on who will actually take the best of 3, but we have started the picks, so let's get into them a little bit. Complexity Gaming taking out the Faceless Void. Hero, obviously saw some nerfs, still quite scary. Ogre Magi saw some buffs. Most overpowered hero in Dota, so they'll ban him out. Smart. Album Sheet taking out the Skywrath, the Bat, and they will first pick that Death Prophet, who early on in the game is not what she was, but if you can get to that point where she's leveled up all her abilities, she's still pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, she has a lot of potential there. You really have to build the team around her, make sure that she's the anchor of your lineup, and make sure that you use your cooldowns to the maximum. You can't afford to use the exorcism and then disengage. You have to make sure that each one is used offensively, used to take objectives, or used to take fights. But barring that, yeah, you have a lot of real opportunity to make the use of this hero. There's a lot of potential with her being on the front lines there and doing what she can. Here we're going to see the answer is going to be the Enigma and the Razor. So a lot of lockdown from one, a lot of damage from the other. But in the end, Razor is one of those heroes that can actually lane pretty well against Death Prophet. DP can still get some good CS through Crypt Swarm, but it will require some mana intensity, and this leaves her vulnerable to picking up runes. If she does go for a rune that is covered up by Complexity, they can maybe get an earlier kill on her before she gets built up towards her Yules, towards her more survivable items, and it makes it more difficult for her. And along with that, they're going to pick up the Brewmaster. So this actually brings in question whether they want to bring the Death Prophet or the Brewmaster to the mid lane. Obviously, the other has the potential for the safe lane, and we have even seen Brewmaster take the off lane in some circumstances. Now, I'm still of the opinion that, as I mentioned, the Crypt Swarm is really good against Razor, and honestly, Brew being a melee hero, he has a rough time of it. I still think the DP should be the one to match up against the Razor, but it's interesting to see them pick up the Brew here.
Yeah, I think it was, I mean, looking at the bans, they took out Skywrath and then they first picked the Death Prophet, so it's let's get those two most prominent silences that really can disrupt the Brewmaster and his ultimate. So we'll ban one, pick the other, then we'll scoop up the Brewmaster. I think it's more of an effort just to get Brewmaster, but like you said, I mean, I think Razor has the edge whoever he goes against, the Death Prophet or the Brewmaster, as Razor has also taken some nerfs but remains quite strong. I think he's got a little bit less of the nerf bat when you look at people like Death Prophet and Viper, for instance. What was that RTZ game yesterday in Star Ladder? Unreal. I think that was the highest GPM on Razor ever. So that hero is still definitely viable. More than viable, obviously, but draft your team around it a little bit more. The same thing like with the Death Prophet, and they start with an Enigma, so that maybe makes your lanes a little greedy. If you start running ganks on the middle lane or wherever Razor may be, maybe Album Sheet can shut it down. But looking at this, really, really strong off-lane bans from Album Sheet, starting even in the first round. They've taken out Batrider, now Tide Hunter, and Centaur War Runner, not wanting to give any of those big brawling heroes that go into the off lane and its complexity to take out the Venge, the Mirana, as they will then third pick the Disruptor, and now a Rubik. Wow, picks coming fast.
Yeah, I really like the Disruptor pickup here, though. It's really powerful against the Brewmaster. It's one of those silences that actually persists very well. You can't just Manta out of it or anything like that. You have to BKB, and Brewmaster might be forced to go with that even before the Aghanim Scepter, which would be quite frustrating. It's also a hero that layers right on top of the Enigma very nicely. You go for the Midnight Pulse, the Black Hole, you get them caught in it, and you follow that up with the combination of Kinetic Field and Static Storm, and there's really no hope for you. Complexity Gaming have the potential to essentially 2v5 with these two heroes. Like, there's some insane wombo combo potential, and it's going to be on Album Sheet to make sure they're positioned carefully, make sure they play reactively, or when they engage they don't clump up too much, and yeah, it's going to be Rubik to be picked up by Album Sheet to kind of play reactively. Looking for the Black Hole steal, looking for maybe a Glimpse steal. I mean, even a Plasma Field is a really good pickup, so Rubik overall is going to have some good times here, but we'll have to make sure that he's used to his greatest potential, or obviously he does have his limitations. I mean, he's a defensive support naturally with his disables, but as far as roaming and ganking, there are better alternatives, so we'll see him come into play a little bit later on, but take some time for him to build up that level 6.
Yeah, honestly, really good abilities for him to steal on both sides, so it might even just be a defensive pick, again, to secure a good game for the Brewmaster for the Death Prophet, as Exorcism, pretty easy to steal, Primal Split, a little harder, but it's Complexity Gaming. With the first 3 picks, first of all, they're all blue, so that's great. I love when teams match. But you get massive AoE teamfight control, you got the Black Hole, the Midnight Pulse, Plasma Field is big damage, sure, Eye of the Storm is targeted, but it's kind of random and can do a lot throughout a team fight. Well, it's not random, but whatever. And then Disruptor with the Glimpse, Static Storm, Kinetic Field, everything. Remaining. But they need some actual stuns that aren't just their massive ultimate. So now Clockwork comes in. He's got the Hook, which is an ultimate but much lower cooldown, potentially 12 seconds with an Ags. But the Cogs, the Battery Assault, all going to be necessary. And I would like to see Complexity Gaming with their last pick again. Maybe just a single target stun would be nice, so they don't have to throw out their big ultimates. But so far, their team fight is looking pretty terrifying. Obviously, Enigma is a bit greedy of a pick, a little bit. I mean, he's a very efficient jungler, so it's hard to scrutinize it that much. But Album Sheet, 4th pick. What do you think they go for?
That's a tough call. It really depends on how they want to build it up here. A solid offlaner that can deal with a Clockwork would be a good idea. I see a lot of heroes going for Force Staff nowadays, which is really good against the Clockwork in general. But yeah, they want somebody that can respond to situations, so... Yeah, I mean, but Rubik building that up will take a long time. Like, that's going to be...
I mean, just in the lane. Like, Rubik's that one hero for me that counters Clockwork. Like, lift him over the cogs, throw him back, and the Clockwork is screwed.
Yeah, I think that he can do that very effectively, but there's other situations, I mean, where that's just not going to cut it. If you're caught in cogs against the heroes that rely on position and control, like the Disruptor, like the Razor, then they're going to be okay to just sit outside the cogs and link you down. Like, they don't necessarily have to have Clock on the front line in order for the cogs to be of an impact. I still think it's important to be able to disengage, so I would like a Force Staff carrier in this situation, but I mean, there's a variety of offlanes that can work. For now, they're just going to build up their support backbone, so we don't know if they're going to be going for I mean, I can't think of the opposite word for greedy, but a kind of a bare bones no carry type lineup where you just get the team fight heroes, the Death Prophet, the Brewmaster, and an offlaner. Yeah, Frugal sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, they have a good support combo. They can still take this late with these heroes alone, but obviously a carry would really be just a way to seal the deal on it. So we'll see if they want to go for a number 1 position, Brewmaster, or if they want to pick up a hard carry.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in love with the Ancient Apparition pick because there's no stuns that come out of it at all, but I really do like the Ancient Apparition Brewmaster combo, and even to an extent, like this, the Ice Vortex from Ancient Apparition with the Fade Bolt, the Thunderclap, or the Crypt Swarm, like all of that will be pretty decent damage, but it's all early game and maybe even mid-game damage, because once BKBs come up, probably see Razor get one, potentially Clockwork and Enigma as well. well, then your Ancient Apparition pick is suddenly doing nothing, and we'll see how well he can do.
10 seconds
but Glimpse, Rocket Flare, Hook Shots all make Ancient Apparition's
5
life pretty
seconds
difficult as he's
remaining.
often alone, far away. But it'll be Complexity Gaming to ban out the Naga. Album Sheet, in turn,
Team
will
pick.
take out the Slark, feeling that that tether, that pounce chain would be a little too much to deal with, and Slark in general is quite good.
I think Slark would have been amazing for Complexity's lineup. The fact that they're always emphasizing chase, with the Razor being a naturally chasing hero, Disruptor being a glimpse back hero, Clockwork, range of initiation without shot, Slark just goes right in with that. He just wants to dig in, he wants to jump his opponents, and he wants to really
10
bring in the hero
seconds
kills, just
remaining.
rack it up. So an aggressive carry like that is all about chase, and is
5
able to
seconds
do things
remaining.
like Dispel the Drunken Haze, or in general just nullify a lot of effects, even against Ancient Apparition. I
Reserve
think that he
time.
would have been a prime pickup, but Complexity don't have that option here. They still have a lot of initiation potential with their lineup and potentially a blink later on from the Enigma. So no matter what they pick, I mean, he's going to have a good surroundings and a good environment in order for him to do damage, but maybe just a simple BKB range carry like a Luna or a Gyrocopter or Medusa.
Yeah, that's true. I was looking for just more initiation, like maybe pick a Sven or a Wraith King and just get Tread's Blink and then murder people. But
Radiant
they'll stick with
team
their
pick.
blue theme, so Clockwork, the odd man out. And
Well, there's Lightning
wow,
Team
Zeus.
too. There's you get the
Yeah,
the,
this
li-
is definitely
the
Lightning
lightning
Team.
rod conductor of the Clockwork. You've got Zeus, Disruptor, Razor, all got lightning going on. And the Cosmos, you got to see some celestial
Enigma
storms
is
there.
just going to have to get a Maelstrom, I think,
Yeah.
is basically the easiest solution. But Zeus is picked up last
Isn't
year,
there,
and obviously...
isn't there like a space
hero can do
storm
a
thing?
lot.
Isn't there like a phenomenon there? Cosmic?
10 seconds
Chaotic.
remaining.
what do you mean, like solar flares or something?
No, it's something else. I really feel like
5
there's something along
seconds
the lines of,
remaining.
it's not necessarily lightning, but it kind of like resembles it, and they call it something like that. But I don't know.
Reserve time.
Lightning in space.
Probably.
Google time.
I didn't study astronomy, but look. Oh, we're on different teams. We got Apparition, Spectre, Nature's Prophet, the only one to not make it to the party, but Spectre, the last pick here from Album Sheet, and it's Swindle Melons that's going to be playing the Zeus.
Yeah. So
So this should be an interesting game.
yeah, I think so. It's all about real precision of the Ice Blast for Album Sheet, I believe. Like if they get some really good Ice Blast game, they're gonna have so much potential to kill off heroes like the Zeus and the Disruptor almost immediately. The Disruptor is still a pretty good counter to Spectre in the sense that if you see who she realities
Prepare
to,
for battle.
and it's towards the tail end of her ultimate, you can glimpse her back from whence she came, and she might not be able to reality to another illusion in time. So I do like that pickup in general, as well as the fact that you can, if she tries to escape with Dagger, you can pull her back. So I still think that Complexity have a really solid lineup, but when it comes to late game, it's all on the shoulders of the Razor and the Enigma.
Yeah, it really is. Zeus, though, is absolutely ridiculous for dealing damage in team fights. I mean, as long as you have decent positioning, the hero's almost no skill. You just hit buttons, and people die to your passive. Like, you can just lightning bolt the ground in the middle of a team fight, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, you can get more, but here they go. 5-man smoke up by Album Sheet. They're going to find Moon Meander. They can get it. They get the lift, and this could be an early first blood, and it probably will be onto Moon Meander, slowing their attack speed as they do have the Chilling Touch out on 4 of them that actually missed the Death Prophet. So an early first blood for Album Sheet. No Fear on the Ancient Apparition is going to pick it up, but also with him it was Chomi on the Death Prophet, Inquisitor on the Spectre. Aloha Dance is going to be playing the Rubik, and we got Big Num generally playing that support role, the Bane that we love to see him play. He'll be taking a more core role here as Big Num Broodmaster.
Yeah, interesting to see him here. He's also got a Clarity to start off,
The
so I
battle
think that is going to be
begins.
their offlaner in this case. He's got the boots first. This is not a mid build by any stretch. He's not looking to combat people with this. He's looking to survive, maybe clap a couple times under tower for some CS, and otherwise just hold back. So yeah, we'll see that. And you did get the chance to introduce Complexity, correct?
Yeah, that's all you.
All right, so looking over at the solo mid Zeus, this is going to be played by Swindle Melons here. 2 clarities for himself. Also not really all that oriented around mid, but, you know, it's Zeus. He loves his mana, so he'll do whatever he can to get to that bottle, and if he just needs Arc Lightning down the waves, that's plenty. On the bottom lane, we're going to see actually a lift up on the Limp here. He's going to take some real damage. He just now skills with the Cogs, but catches 2 in it. That's not going to help you out here, and he is going to be going down for the second blood. So Clockwork will fall despite, actually no boots. to start, and yeah, just a hard time for him on the bottom lane. Up top, it is going to be Moomiander going for that static link play, and we'll just get a little bit of extra damage for CSing. He is playing that one position Razor. He is going to be supported by Z-Freak on the Disruptor and Enigma on the jungling support that's played by Riser.
Yeah, I think this is a really good lane, actually, for the Brute. Like, sure, he won't get a lot of farm, but he'll get decent experience. Razor and the Disruptor together, I guess Disruptor with a decent glimpse, they could probably find the kill on Bignum, but for the most part, they won't be able to bully him out of lane unless Riser on the Enigma will rotate over. You've also got the Brewmaster on the Radiant side, so you can work with that pool camp a little bit, leech some stuff from there. And right now there's a Disruptor with level 1, so level 1 Glimpse isn't the best. It allows Bignum to get that experience early on, and honestly there is no skills yet on Disruptor, still holding that point, whether he needs the Glimpse, the Kinetic Field, or the Thunderstrike. I mean, all of them are really good at level 1, so...
I think he's gonna probably go into a Glimpse Kinetic Field build, let Razor do the damage and just set him up for it. And at level 3, there's some real kill potential on this Disruptor. If he was going for the Thunderstrikes, then it would have been something he wants at level 1 just to start zoning immediately. But obviously, they're not really gonna have much control over this Brewmaster. Not only having naturally 1 free evasion of an auto attack, also having 4 armor, a stout shield, and the boots. It's just really hard to actually do some damage to him that will be of critical value. So we're going to see him go down. Swindlemelons, he's got his bottle and root. Already chewed through both those clarities. Probably didn't get a very long duration out of either of them, but in either case, he got the CS he needed, and the bottle is now on its way with his boots as well. So having a pretty happy time there as the CS count has moved up to 11 now.
Yeah, and Zeus, yeah, like you said, moving up to 11, the Death Prophet 18 and 4, so Death Prophet getting a little bit better of the lane, but Zeus doesn't need that much to come online. It's, again, really just the levels. He wants a Slender God's Wrath, he wants rank 2 of it. And then maybe, what do you think he goes for? Blink, Yule's Scepter, maybe both, straight into an Ags, Veil of Discord. There's a lot of different ways to build the Zeus. What do you think is going to be more prominent this game?
I like the idea of Veil of Discord. It doesn't synergize anymore with Midnight Pulse, which is kind of sad. Midnight Pulse is no pure damage, so you're not going to be able to enhance
that. Spell wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I honestly think that the in some ways it is a nerf, because like I love to enhance Midnight Pulse as much as possible. Like get Veil of Discord on that stuff, get Ethereal Blade on that, get heroes that just naturally enhance that. It can be really good, but as it stands, pure damage is still solid and of course unmitigatable, so it screws over anti-mage and stuff as well. Anyways, yeah, so maybe not the Veil, because, I mean, it's only really helping out Plasma Field, Disruptor's abilities, and maybe a Rocket Flare in addition to Zeus's own. But you need some mobility. The Force Staff would be strong, the Blink could be cool. Yeah, Force Staff would probably be the most important thing, since you're going to get Blink clapped on, and you're pretty much food for the Brewmaster Inspector when that comes online. Ooh.
Yeah, then the Blink Dagger could maybe work to evade, but I know that I think 4 of the guys, actually all of them right now are in Los Angeles, so I'm guessing this is either on Luxembourg or US East, so ping may be an issue for some of the Complexity guys, if not all of them. I know one of them is in Europe, but like I said,
wow,
I think
they're all
260
plus, every one of them.
Yeah,
this
so
is
they're all
definitely
playing in
Luxembourg.
LA right now, which is the ping issue. I believe that this server was made on Lux, as we see Chomi in the
It is the
bottom lane
EU
with
qualifiers in technicality. I'm not sure how that got regioned out, but they are, I guess, subjected to the rules
They've got
of the
one
EU.
European member, and I do believe the team wants to go to Europe. I'm not sure what they're actually doing with that, but for now, like I said, boot camping out there in California. Got to get that sunshine. It's worth the higher ping, I guess. Maybe we'll see the next game. Game 2 is at least guaranteed, maybe on US East. But Bignum, Glenn's back in the top lane. He's got 2 points in the Drunken Brawler. He's got that Stout Shield like we talked about. The Plasma Field goes out. It's not enough. Now,
nice
no fear here. They're going to lift up Z-Freak, and it's going to be an easy kill. One more attack is going to get him. That Chilling Touch amplified by the Vortex as well, and No Fear finds himself a kill. 2-0 and 1. Involved in all 3 kills right now for Album Cheetahs. They're leading 3-0 pretty early on, but it's Complexity with Riser in the jungle leading on the farm 35 and 1. Sure, there's less gold density there, but he is doing quite well. He's already level 6. He'll smoke up and do this 5-minute rotation like everyone on Enigma should. If you jungle Enigma, you get level 6, you smoke, and you go and get a kill. If you use Black Hole on one person, it's fine, and they like to do that to Chomi here in the middle lane. Zeus with the haste. gonna kind of backfire, actually, because Chomi sees that haste, and I think he's gonna be really, really scared.
Oh.
Actually, the supports will rotate over. No Fear is gonna break the smoke from the high ground, and that will force Riser back. Also coming down was Z-Freak upon his respawn. But all of the haste rune, the fact that a hero died on complexity and could show up in the middle lane, kept Chomi playing passive with a rotation up behind. Moonmeander's actually in a lot of trouble, and now they're going to turn it around, and it's them that are in trouble. They're going to look for Big Gnome. Thunder God's Wrath is going to go off as well. The Black Hole, but Moonmeander's picking a different target. This could backfire if there's any RNG to save him. But Big Gnome running back towards enemy territory. Oh my gosh, he almost gets the crit. He almost brings him off. Here's the haunt from Spectre trying to come in. He will actually go. Inquisitor with a Desolate damage will get the kill there.
He took his gloves
Riser,
away. Razor, what did you just do?
Away.
He dropped his gloves on the ground somehow. I don't even know how you do that. He tried to buy them and his inventory was full, and it just dropped it on the ground where he was standing. So Spectre not only jumps in and gets the kill on Razor, but steals 500 gold out from under his feet. That is... yeah,
that's bad.
Hands are going to get cold here. It's going to get very chilly indeed.
Or cold and slow. That's why they're gloves of haste, to keep your fingers warm. But yeah, that's a really bit of a blunder. I mean, you're already losing a couple hundred for the death, and now you've essentially lost 500.
I think what he was trying to do was spend his unreliable gold before he died, because he knew it was going to go down to the haunt, and then he just happened to be next to the side shop. So when
he was next to the side shop.
When he hit his quick buy, it's gone. Swindle Melon's down in the mid lane. Will go down to the double damage right click as well as a Crypt Swarm from Chomi with the help of Aloha Dance, and yeah, it just everything's going up Album Sheet right now. Like, yeah, 2 kills are now on the board for complexity, but that's barely worth the 500 gold value they just lost. That you can't really put into value other than net worth.
Yeah, so far the supports for Album Sheet have done a lot. Obviously, everyone involved in the early first blood, all 5 of them, but they get the kill in the bottom lane, the off lane. They go up, they smoke and TP top to defend, and they find kills there. Now they rotate middle, they will kill the Zeus. They've been active in every single lane, and just looking at the KDA, let's look at complexity. The only one not to die is the Enigma. He has not succumbed to the neutrals yet. So Riser 0, and 2 has been involved in 2 kills, 48 CS, does almost have the mechanism, so that's what he's going for first.
Yeah, and they're going to clear out a very nice stack for the Death Prophet here, arcaning her up. Rubik already has Arcane Boots. I mean, I think that in of itself is a very telling thing.
That's scary.
8 minutes in, the Rubik having Arcanes. Like, usually you have to go over all these transitional items, go Magic Stick, TP Scroll, set of wards, get I don't know, a Bracer casually before you can actually get to this Arcane level. But no, he's just like, oh, I have 1,000 golds out of nowhere, and I'm able to do a lot of work. 1 kill, 4 assists, very high for a Rubik that's only level 5. Like, the fact that he hasn't stolen a single spell, but has contributed 5 kills is immense. All 5, in fact, of Album Sheet. And that's only going to get worse for complexity, as we're going to see the Haunt is back up and available. He's going to get earned charges off of his next kill engagement, and again, that spell steal is up in just a moment here. So, a lot of potential for Aloha Dance to make some people very sad.
Yeah, complexity has already been struggling against a Rubik that just has telekinesis and Fade Bolt. Once this Rubik's able to steal Black Hole, Hook, Lightning Bolt, Arc Lightning, Plasma, whatever, lightning, lightning. Yeah, basically he can have some lightning, and that's going to make him even more terrifying. He's going to TP up top. They're going to look for a pickoff. Big Num is pretty low, so they might think he is going back. But not the best timing with the big creep wave barreling down at you. So Rubik is seen, and we'll maybe have to back off. But so far, Chomi cleared that stack. He's now the new CS leader. He's 61-8 in that middle lane. He's already got the Yule Scepter at 9 minutes 20 seconds. So there goes the ability of Zeus to actually just burst down this hero. Like, now you can no longer do that. And if we see a big team fight with an exorcism, it's guaranteed to be up for at least 2.5 seconds. So it could be bad for complexity.
Yeah, it's definitely. There's potential for Limp to find a solo kill on No Fear right here. He does see him, goes for the hook shot, is able to close in with that max battery assault. So No Fear goes down immediately, but he's taking a lot of damage in turn, and he's going to have to TP out. Luckily, the Yule Scepter didn't come his way, so he will escape, but Disruptor in a bad spot here will get the glimpse off in time.
Yeah, and that's the first Exorcism, skilled up now at level 9, used, and you talked about it on the draft, Exorcism with the longer cooldown now. Like, when you use it, you really want it to be worthwhile. You want to be using it offensively to either win a team fight, take objectives, and ideally both. But here it's used to try to cut Disruptor, you fail, and now you kind of use the tail end of it to defend the push on your top tier 1. It's not the best, but Chomi is doing quite well this game, so probably gonna have a solid impact regardless.
Yep.
And Arc Lightning stolen. This is scary.
Very scary indeed. It's the most scary spell you can have. But I don't know. In this position, like, I feel like the fact that there were 2 ultimates with their album sheet have lost a little bit of their tempo. Like, they're still in control of the game in general, but they're not going to be scary for the next minute or so. Brewmaster split is only all that good if the enemy is really stupid or if you have a blink dagger. So in this situation, you should be all right to be able to at least wait that few hundred gold before Big Num picks the blink, and then he becomes a threat. But for now, the mechanism comes out for Riser, been farming very well in the jungle. It's not, I mean, the best. His CS is almost on par with the enemy Death Prophet, and obviously jungle creeps give less than lane creeps, but at the same time, he gets the mech, a very critical item for bringing his teammates into an aggressive position. They want the Razor and the Clockwork to be able to jump, be able to chase, and this mechanism gives them the backup to make them feel confident in doing so.
Yeah, and there it is. We'll see what Riser can do with his dire Eidolons. I think they want to try to push this top tower again. Riser, Z-Freak, and Meander all up here. And what is, yeah, it is quite low. It's just out of deny range. And then bottom lane, I think they're trying to set up a kill on the Clockwork. Aloha Dan stole the Rocket Flare to maybe even scout out. Pings to defend, though, from Album Sheet to their tower. They do have the free glyph here. And yeah, they will elect to use it, move into Brewmaster maybe for the deny, but he's actually careful there. And yeah, tower's gonna go bye-bye. So that's the first tower. Complexity are definitely on the up and up. Thunder God's Wrath is gonna go out as Swindle looks for a kill.
Nice.
Oh, and the Arc Lightning up the hill with the vision is there, and that's Swindle Melons with the quick fingers, with the high ping. He's still able to get it. Brings out the Death Prophet, evens up the score, and now it's Complexity. Well, they've been leading in experience the entire time because of their Enigma pickup. But now for the first time, they're leading in gold by 500. They also smoke up and are going to be looking for more right now. They've got their sights on the bottom lane, rotating through the jungle right now.
Yeah, I think a Rocket Flare is probably going to come out on the flank, and they're going to be able to scout this out, but it will be too late to save the courier if Moon Meander goes for that one. Little Dusky the Husky will make his trip home. They hasted away, and they've been scouted out. Spectre here can just go for the TP away. It's only going to be Ancient Apparition that gets pinned down.
Oh, man. Imagine both of them moved back here to TP in the tree line. Imagine the hook goes in there and just cancels them both. That would have been devastating. So I think Album Sheet, their little Husky, puts in the extra mileage and scouts out the enemy, actually, and that'll allow 2 of them to retreat. It's No Fear that will take his second death. He's now 2-2-1, and I think they're just going to transition this into the bottom lane push.
So I'm going to see tier 1 boots on Death Prophet for quite some time here. Chomi has actually gone for Yules and is now looking for his BKB. It's not bad, but with tier 1 boots, he's really relying on the Yules to give him the movement speed he needs. Now he'll be glimpsed back, can't get back to the fight in time. The tower's already gone, but Big Gnome's going in.
Riser here, let's say he can maybe Black Hole, but the silence comes out anyway. It's going to silence him up, could have just canceled it, but maybe want to deter the Brewlings a little bit. He's got a Soul Ring, but I don't know if he can use it. Another Thunder God's Wrath going out just fresh off of cooldown. It's Enigma that's going to fall. They've cycloned up the Razor, and they look for the kill there. He's going to throw out the Static Link. Hook is 4 seconds, and that's going to be coming off of cooldown, so I think we're just going to have to zoom out here. They're trying to chase Chomi. He's not that fast. Aloha Dan's dropping low, and they'll bring him down. It's Moon Meander. The hook into the backside of the Zeus, so that's Limp with a bit of a misplay, but at least they will bring down the Rubik. It's 1 for 1. Rubik for the Enigma, that's definitely a better trade for Album Sheet, but Complexity also get the tower, so
Swindelmelon's got a booty that is divine as well, as he's able to block all the hook, even though he wasn't anywhere near him, really. But just getting in the pathway, the Brewmaster lives as a result, and yeah.
I like spots, man.
Game is hard, but you know, in general, right now, Album Sheet are okay with going for kind of even exchanges when the ultimates are expended. The big deal here was Complexity. Riser did not have enough mana for everything that he wanted to do. He dropped down the Midnight Pulse and used the mechanism, and then he moved as if he was about to go for the Black Hole and the Death Prophet. But unfortunately, didn't have the mana. 225 from mechanism and 275 from Black Hole. It's expensive. It's a lot more expensive than it was in 6.1.
Yeah, he could have Soul Ring, but then he was in like, you know, if a little pebble hits him, he would have died at that point. So he was a little hesitant.
This is so different than 6.1. I think it's at least well, it's 75 for mechanism. I think it's a 25 increase for Black Hole. So yeah, it's 100 mana difference from the last patch, and it's just a little bit of inexperience in that regard that made him drop the Midnight Pulse before when he really couldn't afford to do all 3. So in this case here, they're just going to go for the kind of the big death push, and they have the advantage right now. The mechanism advantage is here, and the ultimates as well.
Oh, there's that hook. It's a hook far in, too. It passed another hero for Album. The Rubik was thereby. He hooked in, and that's going to put that on cooldown for another 70 as they try to retreat out. Ice Vortex going to slow them a little bit. Swindle looking for the vision.
Like, Haunt could easily kill the Disruptor right now. He is so damn low. Can TP out if he wants to. Yeah, he's going to do that. It's smart. But, yeah, that stops the push at the very least. The Ice Blast.
Now they might be able to easily kill the Spectre, though, in the bottom lane. I don't know if... Yeah, she throws in the dagger, the Yule Scepter comes up, they're thinking about Thunder God's Wrath, they will throw, but it's still just not quite enough. Now Bingham and Aloha Dancer here. Swindle's probably going to go down unless... No, he will not!
Jeez.
Can't get the hit, damage zapped away, Moonyander with the ultimate thrown out as well. Lightning
Oh,
and
the
lightning
Rocket
for
Flare!
Hale here, and the Spectre, the
Bullseye!
Rocket Flare will actually bring her down inside of the base on the way back.
Nice pick. I will mention that I think that Zeus is using the skill order a little bit wrong here as far as what skills he uses and in what order in order to bring his opponents down. He keeps on using his Arc Lightning last. Like, he always goes for like the Thunder God's Wrath and then the Arc Lightning, or the Lightning Bolt and then the Arc Lightning. And the way the numbers work is because Static Field works on current HP, you want your smaller nukes first. Not only because they're a shorter cooldown, you can probably get 2 in,
Less mana.
but you have the ability to just get more value out of that static field, more value out of that currently 7% current HP reduction. So I think actually he probably would have gotten the kill if he went for Arc and then Thunder Gods, but either way, right now we see action on the mid lane, and that is a really unfortunate death prophet. Oh my gosh, that is one of the worst situations you can be in.
Yeah, and that was just the Glimpse Kinetic Static Field combo coming out from Z-Freak. Riser yet to use the Black Hole, and he does have to be careful. Like, in that engagement bottom, he was possibly silenced by the Death Prophet. She could have canceled it right away. It's a channeling spell, and if you don't get Rubik in it as well, it's going to get canceled out. So like, you have to catch Death Prophet and Rubik in your Black Hole to really secure it, or build a BKB and at least catch the Rubik. So I don't think Riser wants to juice against his team, and therefore we haven't even seen a Black Hole used yet.
Well, there was one.
So there's only... Was there one already?
There was one in Big Num. It was a solo Black Hole, and they did follow that one up for a kill. So, I mean, worthwhile, but they want more.
Yeah, I think they'll probably hold off. They don't want to just give it away, and so far the game has definitely turned around for them. Their lanes, like I said, I expected them to suffer a little bit in the lanes, and it was Album Sheet coming out to a fantastic start with the Death Prophet doing as good as Death Prophets have been doing in 6.81, but obviously the patch change, Death Prophet seeing a little less success on her own in the lane, but Yule Scepter, BKB, and Brown Boots means she must want to go Boots of Travel pretty soon. Spectre in the bottom lane. Is this a Hook Thunder God's Wrath combo here?
Well, they got the vision on her. He had a haste rune already, so he just runs up and gets a pretty much point blank range hook. She tries the Spectral Dagger out, but they've got the glimpse available, and I think he's perfectly fine. So whether this pause came out or not, they were gonna get this kill.
Yeah, she's in all sorts of pain. This is a Cog push, Thunder God's Wrath, a hook. I think she's being glimpsed currently, or is about to be glimpsed.
About to be.
Back into that kinetic field, into the Cogs, so she'll probably be going down, and look at her money. 3,795.
Oh, no.
5 gold short of the relic, and now she's going to be delaying that a little bit more.
Dusky's not even at the secret shop, though. Get on it, man. You need to be able to just instantly teleport to wherever your owners need you to be. But
imagine you could upgrade the courier again and just like have it TP to the secret shop. That'd be
just
sick. For like
infinite
1,000
movement
gold.
speed. Yeah, just 99999 movement speed. Just there it is.
Look at this be a cooldown for the 1,000 gold upgrade. Teleport courier. That'd be sick. There's that glimpse. Well, they were definitely ready. Spectre probably could have prolonged that. She would have been okay. Yeah, now taking away about 300 gold there, down to 3,500, a little short of it. So that's a really big kill. Going to add another maybe minute or so to that Radiance timing. Like maybe see it like 21 minutes, I think.
Like if you had a 20-minute Radiance without any tier 2s taken down, that's almost a game-winning pickup right there. But as it stands, they delay it nicely. Now we see Zeus in a bad spot.
He's going to dodge it. That still applies the debuff, though. It just dodges the brunt of the damage. So he's still going to go down. He'll shatter Ancient Apparition to get the kill. Chomi, though, trying to chase Riser. Will get him. Brings him down with the Exorcism, but again, they use it for kills. So They're not going to be able to find any objectives off of that. The only tower that Album Sheet has claimed is this one, the middle tier 1. But it's a 2-0. It puts them back up on the scoreboard. But Complexity almost 4,000 gold ahead, almost 6,000 experience ahead. Might drop a little, or maybe Album Sheet have stopped the bleeding, but they've definitely got some work to do.
If you look at the item chart right now for the side of Album Sheet, they have absolutely nothing. Like, they just now got the BKB on Death Prophet, but like because Spectre has so much gold banked up right now, they really don't have anything. They have Blink Dagger, they have Yules. Those were good items for initiating and fighting in general, but they don't really give you the stats you need to stay in the fight for a very long period of time. Not against a Zeus that's level 12 and is just able to spam like crazy. Like, they didn't have tank, they didn't even have damage. It's really vital, important, I think, this sword gets this Radiance. It doesn't get picked off again. First, we're going to see Aloha Dance, though, in a bad spot, and it looks like he will be going down.
Well, that Big Nub jumps in, though. Here's the Haunt, and the Brewling is going to spawn. Boulder Smash going for Z-Freak. He'll fall first. He hadn't even used the static storm. Now Chomi, no fear, everyone trying to chase. It will be the Clockwork hooking his way out onto, I guess, a creep wave there. So he'll be back towards safety. A lot of spells to use there, and it's just a support trade for a support trade. That was another Exorcism and a Primal Split, and now that's going to allow Complexity to definitely force down some tier 2s, I think, once that Disruptor respawns.
Definitely the Haunt, but the Exorcism was used actually like in the Dire Jungle. It was a lot earlier than that.
Oh, right, so that was used earlier. So yeah, the Haunt and the Primal Split, excuse me.
Yeah, both Haunt and Exorcism very ghost-like spells. We got the Lightning Cleave versus the Ghost Cleave here. Too spooky for me.
Too spooky. I mean, it's most Halloween, right? So we'll allow it.
Aloha looking to close distance, looking to find the kill and swindle, but it's not going to happen. Just doesn't have the movement speed there. Yules gives you plus 40, and Zeus just able to maneuver as he will. But we're going to see now the Yules versus Yules. It's race cars. It's Too Fast, Too Furious here. Death Prophet, she's going to close in on the top lane. So, no, just going to farm up some nice creeps here. So going to be able to build up towards his next item. And we talked about initial items. I still think Force Staff is pretty important, but they do at least have one on the Clockwork. So what do you think? Like, right now, the fact that Enigma doesn't have Blink Dagger, I think double Force would be really good, but obviously there are alternatives like Aghanim Scepter and things of that sort.
What was this item for? I see Clockwork with the Force. So who else were you talking about?
He's got 2k banked.
He's got the Yules.
He's got a Yules.
I think since he has the Yules, he might just go for the Blink Dagger. I mean, yeah, you're banking this money, so you're pretty close to the Force Staff as well. And we'll be able to see, I think, that he's got enough for the Force. Still farming, and he's by the side shop. He's gonna TP though, actually all the way back to base, so I guess we'll just get to watch him purchase stuff up.
Yeah, exciting. Exciting shopping.
It's gotta be Blink. It's gotta be Blink. 5 gold.
Yeah, you're right. I think Force is
Blink
better,
Yules
though.
is pretty classic.
I agree. I like the potential to pick people off with the Yule Scepter, but I think that it's so much more important to have the Enigma in the right position than it is for the Zeus. Like, the Zeus is already alright in the sense that he can survive for 2.5 seconds with Yules. If you put Enigma in the fight the way you want to with these Force Staffs, then there's just so much potential for your lineup to make the big plays happen. You want that black hole to really matter, and right now, as it is, just walking it in, 1 Force Staff, it might be enough, but it's not a guarantee by any stretch, so we'll see. For right now, it's going to be the Blink, but it's up against the Radiant Spectre, and as well as the Ice Blast, which later on will be extended in duration, so not 100% confident in myself, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I feel like this is almost one of the games where the threat of Black Hole is probably going to be more probable than actually seeing the Black Holes. Moon Meander opened on with the solo Ice Blast, which actually gives a pretty good window for Complexity to follow this up. The BKB goes on Moon Meander. He wants to static link up one of the pandas, and he will now. Clockwork thrown up into the Cyclone. Z-Freak, they're going to continue to chase him down, and they will actually bring him down. So he's going to be the first casualty of war. And now Limp is in a lot of trouble. Lifted up Silence. The Exorcism basically solo on him, and Alpha has done a good job actually with the solo pickoff. With a Black Hole into quite a few people. Now Moon Meander with the double kill. It is going to be stolen by Aloha Dance if he can even get out of this, though.
He's dead.
Swindle will get him, and now it's gone. So yeah, it gets stolen, but Rubik was very, very battered after that team fight, and Swindle with the Blink Dagger. That's what he wants it for, right? Just very, very edge of the fight. Have them open on Meander, have Z-Freak die for the cause, and then Melons just comes in with that blink and cleans up. One problem with that, though, Haunt will cancel Blink in some key moments this game.
Oh yeah, the Radiance is going to be screwing over his Blink Dagger more often than not, but when you get it in the right moment, the right time frame, you should be able to kind of re-engage the way you want to. Now we're going to see Medallion picked up, looking for Roshan on the back of that fight. The Ice Blast will slow it down a little bit, but the fact that there is no Exorcism, is no Split, is no Haunt, that's going to be their go word for this Roshan. And with the Aegis up on a hero like Razor, they're going to be able to take more objectives, take not only the mid tier 2, but look for the next one. And yeah, they'll be able to kind of pull up this gold momentum. Now, one thing to mention is that fight was very spread out for complexity, and that's actually not how you want to fight against a Spectre in general. Like, the Haunt does so much damage with that Max Desolate when you're nowhere near your allies, and they were pretty well picked off by those pandas, picked apart rather. But at the end of the fight, Riser gets that nice black hole, they're able to seal the deal on a couple of kills, and of course Rubik just can't disengage with his current item set. So once you start winning a fight, you have all this chase, and you will be able to put a lid on it. It's just a matter of getting that momentum swing, and that's where Riser comes into play.
Yeah, and they will back off there on the Roche. I think they saw people coming in, they realized everyone was alive, no black hole. I don't think they wanted to fight it. Either that or Riser screwed up because he didn't demonic convert his own Eidolon, and then they just stopped doing Roche. But he moved to mid lane, used it immediately, so I think they just wanted to again push out the middle lane. They just took the tier 2 there, so they might want to swing bottom, and if they do, they will run into Chomi and friends. Everyone down there, it's only the Spectre farming up top, but Haunt available. She's got the Radiance, so she's flash farming up. She's getting close to the heart even. She's got the big boost. Hooking onto No Fear, lifted almost immediately. There's the Thunder God's Wrath, trying to get out that vision. Ice Blast will actually be dodged. Nice read there, but of course they had vision, so they saw him cast the spell.
This is awkward.
Very nice. Thunder God's Wrath, pretty good. And they will cancel that. Nicely done. All the damage. Actually still hooked, and will try to get out of here. The Haunt, the Brewlings, everything going out straight onto Riser. He won't be able to turn this with a black hole this time. He actually will still live for the time being, but I think they're going to bring him down on the backside of the fight. Inquisitor was used up by Swindle Lemons. It's 2-4-3 right now. Complexity the advantage, but I think Swindle going to go down to the Spectre. They're still chasing him. The Desolate damage, she'll get
What's
it.
this
A lot of
buyback?
AoE gold going her
What
way.
is
And
this
buyback
buyback?
for Limp here? I don't know. He's going to try to chase this. It doesn't seem quite worth it. So now it's 4-4-3, the buyback here, and she'll pick up the invis, and that's going to stop any hopes of the chase.
That buyback was awkward. Other than that, I mean, it's just it's a forgivable set of mistakes there. One thing was Swindle actually saved the life of Z-Freak by getting the Yules off on the Spectre, so the Disruptor didn't get dropped down, but as a result, the Zeus himself fell, so I'm not sure if that's the best exchange there. In general, you engage on that, you feel confident, but then suddenly an Exorcism plus BKB. Like, they just don't have an answer to the Death Prophet right now, unless they've already gotten Razor at least halfway through his static link. Like, he needs that right click damage or the Eye of the Storm to be on her constantly in order to bring her down, because right now she's only 6 armor, she's very weak to physical, but obviously she has the answer in terms of those magical effects. She will look towards what looks to be a heart next, keeping those brown booties for what seems to be the full duration of the game, but it is worth noting that even in spite of BKB, the Midnight Pulse will do really well versus that Heart of Tarrasque.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I can see you keep the brown boots is you want to go boots of travel, but she thinks now she needs the heart. I don't know how worth it is. I feel like I'd rather see you buy treads or phase and then finish your heart, and then just
Tranquil
sell your
boots would be nice
later
for armor
for
right now.
half
Like, I don't
value.
know.
Or even the tranks, yeah. I mean, if you don't get hit and your exorcism is online, it's going to be pretty terrifying. You're going to be really, really fast.
Well, they'll be broken, but the armor buff always persists. I don't know. It's just like any tier 2
Yeah,
boots
yeah.
makes sense to me right now comparatively, but maybe
I
it's
agree.
a casual
Just sell them
bit.
later when you want to get your boots of travel. I don't think it's that much of a side effect, as you see so many people just staying on brown boots. But that's just a personal opinion, so it doesn't really matter. Inquisitor here, gonna find the cogs out on
Nice
there.
silence.
Yeah, he finds the cogs, but it's Lens back past them. Ice Blast will actually connect, just barely, but I think he'll be fine. It is a rank 1 Ice Blast still, so most definitely he's gonna be fine.
Yeah. A hard time for No Fear so far. Like, he is a level 9 Ancient Apparition with a net worth value of 2,600. You usually see a lot more contributions here. 3 kills, 4 assists, but yeah, that's out of 15 kills. He's contributed in 7. So the Ice Blasts really haven't been on point sufficiently to really showcase the potential of this Ancient Apparition, and he has been having to also play the ward game a lot. Like, the Rubik's actually not taking the wards up. Aloha Dance is focusing on his own farm, maybe getting a Blink Dagger up or something of that sort, rather
Dire's
than
bottom tower
warding.
is under
And
attack.
generally speaking, I would say it's the other way around. I would see the Ancient Apparition as the number 4 and the Rubik
Radiant's
as the number
top tower
5. But
is under
I guess if
attack.
they can steal that mean black hole or something of that sort, then there's some real value in Aloha Dance picking up a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger before AA moves in for that axe.
Yeah, I think their role decision might not have been that at the beginning of the game, but with those rotations, like Rubik was involved in every single kill at one point for Album Sheet, so he had those mana boots early to a really good start, and I think he was like, alright, maybe just let me finish those bigger items, I'll take a bit of the farm, and now the Ancient Apparition has gone Tranquil, Staff of Wizardry, probably for an Ags, but hey, we'll see what he wants to do. Here is Riser farming in the jungle, Mech working towards his BKB now, doesn't want to get silenced out, and that's Medallion, which they have not yet put to use on the Roche. We saw Swindle, he got delivered out of Veil of Discord, looking at Z-Freak, sitting on mana boots, playing that ward game as well. I think Moonmeander's working towards the AC, that's the item I love to come up next. We see a lot of the Razors moving towards the AC as opposed to the Refresher nowadays, and looking at Limp, we've got Force Staff, and he's going towards his Ags as well. BKB and Enigma's done. BKB has been there on Big Num for a while, but he has not actually used it. He's also then going for the Vlads, a little bit more push for the team, which I love to see. The Heart very close to being done on Death Prophet. And, well, that's about it. Heart also almost done on Inquisitor, so that takes them up a little bit. But you talk about this ability for Zeus called Static Field, health reduction 11%. Is Heart really the item that you want to go for?
Against a Zeus and an Enigma. You get the Midnight Pulse, you get the Static Field.
it's
Both
like
of them are
horrible.
directly correlated to your health pool, current or max. And yeah, it's not my item of choice in these situations. Still, it's really good to have on Spectre in general. Like, they're going to have to commit 3+ heroes anytime they want to kill her, but they will have answers if they get a good combo off, if they get a good kinetic field, or if they get a good black hole. So we'll see. I think the next item after Blink for the Enigma should be that Aghanim Scepter, because it just gives so much potential for her. Actually, Limp should go down here to the Ice Blast. It is only level 1, as we mentioned, though. He will take a couple of Roche hits, though, and here comes the Brew.
Yeah, and Swindle's actually going to get that Aegis, so he just trying to cast all of his spells out of here. Spectre's going to jump in, will bring down Z-Freak. Riser actually BKB'd. He might want to just Black Hole this, and he will. Moonmeander with the damage zap coming in onto Inquisitor. This is going to delay the Heart again. Another death before a big item there. Also a nice Plasma Field on the retreat, but the Vortex slowing down Meander. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this. He'll Eye of the Storm and right-click down the Ancient Apparition, but it's going to be Marana, what the hell?
Marana.
Death Prophet to get the final kill there with the Crypt Swarm.
Everyone's Marana. But,
Everyone's Marana.
yeah, that was a pretty chaotic fight there. I mean, like, the Zeus was in kind of panic mode there. He picks up the Aegis quickly because he's the only one with slots.
To. They were, like, Brewmaster was looking to
Veil of
deny it.
Discord's just Brewlings, which doesn't really do all that much, but there you go. And, yeah, they were really in chaos mode. They were trying to figure out what they needed to do in that just spur-of-the-moment situation. They have some good AoE abilities, so they don't get out unscathed. The Spectre did go down, of course, to that black hole, as you mentioned, and that's a very important kill for them. But, yeah, I'm not sure if it's as clear-cut as they wanted it to be. They just wanted that to be an easy Roche, but sending in the Brew, sending in the Ancient Apparition Ultimate, they can't take anything easy.
Yeah, well, at least Roche is off the table for now. Complexity still got, I think, the slight better end of that. They did kill the Spectre to slow down her item progression, but not too much because she respawns and she just binds the Heart. So the two Hearts have come up. The Vladimir's for Big Num has come up, and Riser's just going to TP out at the bottom lane. That pure damage will go through. Actually, they creep her close by, so he's able to TP out. And Ice Blast up top. It's going to land on Limp. Chomi was also giving chase, and Z-Freak for the glimpse if they can find it. They got the vision there with the ultimate. I love the synergy of this team, actually. The vision for the Rockets. Limp goes way in here, and he will get the kill. And now on the backside, there's Aloha Dance, but Zeus is going to try to deal with him.
Oh, no!
He needs to just lightning bolt the ground if he can, but he's going to run into the cogs. We'll see the Death Prophet, I think, still giving pursuit, but I'm seeing Aloha Dance versus Swindle, and now Swindle's in trouble because Big Num's going to show up here. Another defensive Yule Scepter coming out, and now he's not going to be able to run away from that in time, as everyone very, very low, and he'll blink into the trees and get out. Blink Dagger's also there for Big Num, but he won't think about jumping in there blindly. I think he maybe could have got it with a bit of luck, What happened to Death Prophet? It looks
That's
like
still
she was
going.
able to run out. No, she's still being dealt with. Moonyander's there. He's going to BKB up right now, trying to deal with the big right click. Riser's there. No BKB, though. And this is a lot of damage. They're going to switch it over to Inquisitor now. The Malefice is there as well. Plasma Field. She is quite tanky. We don't have any of those percentage HP reducing abilities online right now. Actually, we do. Zeus is back, looking for Chomi. Doesn't want to be solo with that exorcism. It's too much damage to deal with. Riser going to go back in. This is his BKB. There's that damage. Look how much that did. That was one lightning bolt. And I think it was also a hook to bring down that Rubik that was being pesky for a pretty long time.
The fact that that fight lasted long enough for Swindlemelons to TP back home, blink to the front lines, run all the way back, huffing and puffing, and just deliver that cleanup kit, like that was just way too stretched out for Album Sheet. I mean, the Death Prophet popped her ultimate at 20-25% HP. You don't do that. That's a recipe for disaster, just wasting those precious spirits. And yeah, they are also going to lose the Ancient Apparition on the bottom lane, and I don't know. I feel that Album Sheet really don't have anything to back up what they've been delivering so far other than the Spectre. The Spectre obviously is carrying her own weight, but everybody else, they seem a little bit lackluster. The Death Prophet dies very quickly to physical damage, is being kited quite significantly right now, and looking at the supports, looking at Rubik and Ancient Apparition, I love the casual cloak pickup and the casual bracer that Rubik got, because it did give him the effective HP he needed to duel it out with Swindlemelons over by that side trap up there. But what I see on both supports here is this casual Staff of Wizardry. This item does almost nothing for them. 10 right click damage, a little bit of mana, pretty much worthless. They need to prioritize one of these two heroes to get their 4-staff up and have the other one just buy wards. Like, they have to stop splitting the bill on this one because they really need the utility of these Staffs of Wizardries, not the stats.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And so far, they're not going to have that. 25-20 though, the scoreline. We'll check out the graphs quickly. It's not a big advantage for complexity, but they are ahead about 4,000 gold. Looking at experience though, they've been winning the fights. They've been finding a lot of farm off the map with that Enigma and their other 2 core heroes. 10,000 experience. But the number 1 net worth is still the Spectre. Like you said, she's doing great. She's carrying her own weight. Just under 17,000 net worth. The Razor is at about 15. Death Prophet close to that as well. Then we see that Enigma, that 4 roll that somehow always ends up being first or second for his team. He'll be there at 13.2k, 12.8 for the Zeus, 10,000 for the Brew, and a little under 9 for the Clockwork. So, not too bad for either side, really. Just those supports really, really suffering.
So these fights are kind of back and forth. Obviously, the golden experience graph showing some exchanges there, and it's still like it's not clear cut. Although 4,000 and 10,000 is the golden experience leads for complexity. Obviously, the Spectre is the hardest carry in this game, so it just comes down to how much can she bear on her back as a solo carry. The Death Prophet is bringing in a lot now, and she is finally going to pick up some armor here with the plate mail, so she will be able to survive against the Razor a little bit more directly. But all in all, she has expended a lot of BKB charges down to 7 seconds. The Razor, her counterpart, Moon Meander, is at 5. So both of them have their limitations surviving through the fights, but all the same, it really comes down, I think, to how much the Spectre can accomplish and how much her allies will be able to back her up. Are we going to see Ice Blast on multiple heroes when those palms come out, and are they able to win the fight off of that alone?
Yeah, so far it hasn't quite been enough. It's still a rank 1 Ice Blast. It's legitimately not enough right now, but he is getting pretty close to 11, so rank 2 is definitely going to help out. Also, if the Brewlings can keep him there with an Ice Vortex, maybe crank out a little bit more damage, get someone to shatter. I mean, it's still going to be nice. Whether or not the Ice Blast can do it alone, as long as you apply it to everybody, I mean, at least then you only have to do, what, like 80% or 88 to 90% of their damage to actually kill somebody, so... we'll see if he can land some good ones. We've seen already they will prioritize just landing it on the Razor. And top, yeah, we've seen Swindle. He's been in this lane for a while, just trying to push it out. He might want to go ahead and retreat now. Riser's going to BKB up. He'll take an Ice Blast to the face. Inquisitor has used the Haunt right now, so if Riser can get away, this would be very, very good. I don't think he will. He's maybe going to shatter. He thinks about maybe casting a Black Hole against the Midnight Pulse down. The Dagger Search. It will actually land on the Zeus, but nothing is going to be able to keep him. He'll back out. The Enigma, it's a nice pickoff as his net worth was very, very high. Just as high as the Zeus. And they were trying to bring down the tier 2. They get it to 457. And as they do that, Diffusal Blade coming out for the Spectre. We also saw the Aghanim's come out for the Clockwork a couple minutes ago.
Yep, we're gonna see Death Prophet looking for Pursuit. Gets hooked. This is Axe Hook, so a very short cooldown, but the Brewmaster still able to jump in, do the damage they need to. So overall, well done. We're gonna see a TP away from Clockwork perhaps, and it looks like the Yule is not available, so he will get out.
He's just standing there like chilling. I don't know if it was his TP was on cooldown or something, but he gets out safely.
Yeah. So up on the top lane there, I actually feel like they might have been able to fight that. I know they were only 3 out of 5, but there were so many TPs that get staggered that if you just black hole one person, focus them down, they kind of force themselves into a daisy chain in position. There aren't a lot of tools to interrupt the black hole right now, and like especially with the BKB up, and I think the reason they didn't do it is because they didn't know where the Rubik was and didn't know about where the spell save would come into play. But if they had actually gone, they probably could have taken it either way.
Big exorcism here by Chomi, and that's going to bring down the Zeus first and foremost. He threw out his ultimate, and now he'll just buy back. LMP looking for the hook. He's got it. He finds the vision. About to block it, yeah. Enigma cuts off the angle there. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Let the Clockwork go in front. But BKB up, Reebok, Chomi able to get out of there. So they've wasted a little bit. The supports, though, did fall. Rubik and the Ancient Apparition, but it was a buyback on the Zeus. So 2 for 1, a core buyback there. Zeus now slowing his progression towards what looks to be a sheepstick as he builds up that ultimate orb, trying to deal with the Spectre and/or the Death Prophet.
Yep, they're actually going to go down bottom, look to bring down Inquisitor if he did push out for another wave, but it's not going to happen. He's going to be falling back here, and yeah, they're just going to be waiting it out. The big thing here is that Complexity do have access to the Roche Pit. It is going to be up in about 35 seconds here, which it's just an average respawn, not a big deal. But yeah, right now, if they do get the Aegis available on, let's say, the Razor, then they should be able to push in pretty hard. They still have that AC advantage. Like, the Vlad's kind of negates the offensive aspect of it, but you still get that nice defensive aura against the Death Prophet. So that's going to come into play until Big Num finishes the AC. And we actually see, it's not even like a full fight. It's like a back-and-forth skirmish, both sides kind of levying for positioning advantage.
I really thought he was going to go for the hook there. He had the high ground. He was going to be able to catch a couple retreating. And I don't know, I guess he wasn't willing to sacrifice himself. Because Clock probably would have died, but they might have forced out a primal split. They'll be content, though. Complexity, they take the tier 2 tower. They'll back off. Like you said, Roche respawning. They don't know it yet, but they do have Clockwork. I'm sure he'll rocket it, or they'll just check it now. Someone should check it now. Please check it now. Eidolons? Come on. You know you want to go in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Ice Blast is going to check it. So there's the other team. They know what's up. As the Shiva's Guard actually comes out for Chomi, so great attack speed slow will help reduce some of that output, the damage output of the Razor, at least from his right clicks. And of course, you got the Arctic Blast damage. Is decent, I guess. Still dangerous for supports, that 200 AoE.
So Enigma's banking 5k. I'm kind of curious if this is going to be the Aghanims, if it's going to be the Refresher.
Abyssal Blade.
It's not a Blink Dagger, because that would have been picked up a long time ago. So it has to be either the Ags or the Refresher. I mean, Hex, I guess, is theoretically possible as well, but not that great in this situation, in my opinion. So we'll see.
I wouldn't mind it, actually.
It is Mystic Staff, so Sheep 6 seems to be the item of choice. I mean, Shivas is also a possibility. Good for initiation. You can actually use it while you're channeling. You can still activate it there, but yeah, I don't know if it's
next level.
The most impactful pickup. Yeah, it is the full Shivas.
I think already they're expecting to go into the late game,
sure.
And Riser knows that Black Hole isn't that reliable lockdown, because if Rubik steals it, gets a Blink Dagger up at some point during this game, and uses it against the team, that's bad. So let's just chain together some sheep sticks to bring down these big targets. I think that might be the answer. I mean, obviously we'll just see how it works out for him.
Yep. Pick and push play in general is a good mentality to have when you're outgunned in the late game, and the Spectre definitely has the potential to just overextend a little bit, try to farm, and then be taken out, be forced to buy back before the fight begins. That's definitely very valuable. But yeah, so I mean, right now the Shivas is going to be good for the initiation. It's going to be in general just good for his survivability, and actually they will pick up a courier here, so that is going to be I think that, yeah, the Brewmaster, no, that was a little early for his hyperstun. I'm not too sure. what they were looking for there.
Another was on it, but it was obviously waiting for something. Who is getting close? The Shiva's Guard's there for the Death Prophet, so they've got a matching Shiva's Guard on each side.
I can think
don't
Ato's Vit
Spectre
Booster. That's all I can
needs
come up with.
anything. Yeah, it had to have been the Hyperstone. It was just waiting there, right? Because you got the Plate Mail, the Ace, or the Plate Mail and the Chain Mail just waiting.
It's
and,
too
and
early for
finally,
that.
I was wondering where this item was for Clockwork. He didn't get it in the early game. He'll pick up the Blade Mail now, though, so look to return a bit of that damage every time he jumps in. And he's had the opportunity to go in pretty far a few times and hasn't taken it. But now with the Blade Mail, maybe he will. He's 6'5" and what was that, 10? So Clockwork involved in a lot of these kills, 16 of the 27.
I don't know, man. This is kind of awkward positioning from as far as posturing for the late game here. Like, the pickup on the core is unfortunate, but didn't have anything really on it, so not a big deal. They can just kind of walk over there manually and pick up whatever they need. Looks like A will make his way to get that Vit Booster. No, it's going to be Point Booster. Okay, so he is going to turn this Wizardry into Ags, as he probably should have been working on 20 minutes ago, but, you know, wards are an important thing that he has been just selflessly putting up for his team. So finally gets the Point Booster up. He will make his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. It's just been a really long time coming. Anyways, so from there, Complexity, they have great initiation, they have great team fight, they have great control over Roche. They just have to wait for Ice Blast to be whiffed once, and in that 40-second cooldown, they can go for the Roche pit. But
Who's got buyback? Who has to force it? It's Razor or Enigma. Get that Ice Blast, and then buyback. Roche. Maybe not. Maybe not the best way to go about it, but it's definitely one way to go about it. Until then, I mean, they'll try to push down the middle lane, keeping their stronger heroes together against this three. This is the big Wombo combo, right? Like, Disruptor and Enigma just sort of crowd control while Moon Meander pours out the damage, but I don't know. I mean, the idea of a Haunt Ice Blast, like Brewmaster jumping in from the trees, it seems dangerous to put even 3 people past the river. Like, if you're going past the river, I feel like you need everybody. And now Lemp is pretty close by. They might just go group up with their Zeus. He's frantically trying to farm up. He's doing these stacks. He's getting the lane creep. He's trying to get that sheep stick. I can only assume it's the sheep stick. Obviously, there's a couple other options.
check out Spectre's stash.
Oh, it's a long hook. You'll find no fear. He spots him out. There's an Ice Blast. Now you run to the Roche. You got 40 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the right play here, but actually Album Sheet's already in that neighborhood. They're like, oh, you're going to come to the Roche? Well, we're already going to be in the pit, so... Complexity better think about it, because this Exorcism is going to bring down Roche very, very quick, and this is split-second decision-making for Album Sheet.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It
But
really
now they've
is.
been spotted out by the rocket, and the hook's at only 12-second cooldown, so you know the hook can go right back into this. Brewmaster going to think about trying to block the hook. Another rocket could be coming in and down, but Roche already fallen. Chomi's picked up the Aegis, and now do you try to engage on this? It could be Scary Risers on the wrong side of the shooting right now. There's a hook in. I don't even know what it hits. It missed. It hit the neutrals. And now he's trying to come back, but getting chased down by the Spectre illusion, he's going to be in danger. Chomi gets thrown up in the air. Moon Meander's taking a lot of damage. He's grabbed over 224 damage right now. Zeus going to be coming out of this and look to throw off all of his spells if he can. No one has even died yet. This fight's been going on for a century right now. Still no one down. They're going to look to chase Aloha dance, but he's gone Invis. Another hook to connect. This one on Inquisitor. The Cogs to push him back a little bit. Chomi also there. Swindle, Melons, given the chase. The Glimpse back onto the Cogs again. They almost move him. Plasma field damage evaded, but there it is. They drop the Static Storm kinetic field. Inquisitor will be down for 90 seconds. And after all of that fighting, only one person dies.
Where's the kill secures? Where is the tools they need to just execute somebody? It's the Ice Blast that kind of missed completely. Went up into where the Dire Ancients are because he was expecting the fight to take place a lot more in the river, a lot more in the bottom rune, but they were in retreat. The only one Eclipse was a Clockwork, and although he dropped down near the Shadow Threshold, without that Axe upgrade, it just didn't last long enough, so...
I can't believe that hook missed at the start of the
Yeah,
fight.
I just grabbing some Satyrs, just being like, yeah, it's time for the farming hook shot. That sucked. I mean, there were so many heroes that could have hit, and he was just taking on the fight for a little bit too long there. But in the end, they take this huge boon. They get the Spectre kill, which I think is even more important than the Aegis and the Death Prophet. Like, Aegis is nice, and the golden experience from Roche is good, but stopping the Spectre from picking up her next item is of the utmost importance. And check out what that item is.
I don't know, tell me.
On Spectre
Refresher
Stash is the friggin' Refresher Orb. I love this pickup. Getting 2 haunts out, it just
Chat
makes...
was already talking about it like a couple minutes ago.
It's just so good. It is so good. And getting it with the Ice Blast that will be enhanced by Ag's upgrade soon enough I think it's just brilliant. It really has a lot of potential to do some real work, and it's not like they're gonna be picking up a bunch of BKBs to survive through the damage. They have to get pipe and yeah, just play it very carefully whenever Spectre's looking to engage.
Well, the Sheepstick started for Melons after that last fight, and has already got another 1,200 in the bank. So there's the potential that he can also look for the Refresher Orb, can maybe look for the Ags. I mean, I don't know what else to go for. You're never going to turn Zeus into a right-clicker, so I don't think you go for anything like a MKB or something towards the late game. I still think you're taking those utility core items like the Ags, like the Refresh. So that's what we got in line for Zeus. Obviously, Spectre's already taken that route, Refresher Orb, and that's an item that you can use, put on your Courier, and then basically be 7-slotted or even 8-slotted on a Spectre if you continue farming into the late game. So that's always a possibility. That's just the recipe, though. So she still needs to buy the Oblivion Staff, the Perseverance. So a little ways off, especially if she wants to keep the buyback available. Looking at those now, actually, we see 5 heroes in the game with buyback. I'll switch back to net worth. Spectre, no surprise up front. Death Prophet, 20.8k, has the Aegis. AC just came out for the Brewmaster, so AC Vlad's my favorite. This is my favorite Brewmaster build right now, with or without the BKB. That's just necessary because of Disruptor, but
yeah, it's a big pickup though.
There's the axe.
Oh, that's even more my favorite. Like you can keep your Vlad's AC Brewmaster. I'm all about this Aghanim Scepter and Enigma.
That's just my favorite brew build, not ever.
But the one problem is he still doesn't have any
ever
Blink
is
Daggers, and they only have one
Dagon
Force
5.
Staff. That's the only thing, is the Black Holes are going to be kind of lackluster until they actually get some initiation, like the Medallion versus Blink
Considering
Dagger.
we've seen 2 this game.
Yeah, it's pretty limited. Like Riser had a really good Black Hole in the middle lane team fight, and he needs to get another one out there. But I think Album Sheet are going to be respecting a little bit his potential once they see this Aghanim Scepter, because the Midnight Pulse plus Aghanim Scepter, Black Hole, yes, those 2 effects stack. That's double Midnight Pulse, and that means it's chewing through 5.2% of your max HP, or actually, yeah, 10.5% of your max HP per second. That means throughout the duration of the Black Hole, you're already down to half HP guaranteed. There's no two ways about it. Heart, BKB, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And if you put a Midnight Pulse on top of that, I believe you can get an entire team down to like 5-10%. So that'll be devastating, because you got another health-based ability in the Static Field from Zeus. So a Black Hole onto 3 people means 3 dead people at this point in the game. So it's really up to Riser right now. He still is without the mobility, like no blink, no force, and, well, 350 move speed only, so he's just got to waddle on in. Nothing to really set him up. Maybe a good Static Storm from Disruption can set him up, but we'll just, again, like, have to wait and see for this to come out. The team fights have been really chaotic, really spread out. We saw a team fight that lasted 1.5 minutes and only 1 person died. So both teams able to disengage. And really, for now, too scared to fight. They've just gone back into a farm game. We're 51 minutes in. We had a Heart come out on the Razor, an item which I feel like actually makes sense for his team.
Yeah, a lot on the Razor's shoulders here, but do you go for the BOT's Refresher next? I mean, like, how else do you progress in this position? Like, Butterfly seems okay. MKB, perhaps, since obviously you're up against the Brew, and
both of those.
Perhaps the Butterfly and the Spectre, so I could see it.
I say MKB for Razor.
Out of those 3 choices, the Refresher, the MKB, and the Butterfly, your preference lies with the monkeys?
Yeah, Monkey and Travels, I guess. I mean, because the Drunken Haze can effectively just shut him down, right? What is it, 75% miss chance? And you've stolen 300 damage, but you can't use it?
I mean, he's got the BKB, and with a Refresher Orb, he could BKB the second time. So, like, he could actually
But the team fights have been long, and that BKB is only 5 seconds.
I feel like getting a Refresher Orb and getting the second Black King Bar Charge should be enough for you to have 100% hit chance against everybody but Brewmaster. If the Spectre went for a Butterfly, I'd feel differently, but as it stands, I actually feel like the Refresher Orb is plus BKB, even at 5 seconds, is enough to mean that you don't have to have a Monkey King Bar at this stage in the game, and obviously the Refresher gives him so much more in other capacities. So double Eye of the Storm, very powerful indeed. The enemy doesn't have a Crimson Guard, and that means that it's just going to be tearing through them.
Yeah, speaking of Crimson Guard, I haven't seen that item at all recently. A lot of the people, even the pros, were talking about it's probably so good, we just haven't really experimented with it yet. But really, they still haven't seen it almost at all.
Yeah.
Not that I watch all Dota, because that's actually impossible.
You just need 5 monitors and
Impossible.
gigabit internet.
And don't sleep ever because it's on all the time.
VODs.
Like VODs, yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, other things must be done in life.
No
Unfortunately.
lights, only
Smoke
Dota.
coming up for disruptors. So talk about an item that can mean a lot in the late game. Smoke, it's a cheap one. It's only 100, but sometimes it can be the biggest impact. And we will see Lieutenant Squawkins come out here, deliver it to Z Freak. So Lieutenant Squawkins for MVP, perhaps. They're going to smoke up and look for a pickoff. And it's complexity with all the tools to find that vision. You got the Thunder God's Wrath, the Rocket Flares, and we'll see if they can find anybody. Both teams in the same exact place on their side of the map, chilling under their tier 3. What has Dota come to?
Yeah. Very afraid. Very, very afraid. But they're looking to smoke soon. Z-Freak is just waiting for the timing that'll be best. I think they want to scout out somebody with a rocket flare and then make their way a certain direction, but as it stands right now, they're just staying clumped. So let's just, since there's passivity, and this generally means the game's going to last at least 10 more minutes, let's talk about hyper late game item progression. Inquisitor, he has the defusal for now. What I love to see on Spectres in the hyper late game is 2 item builds, one for haunting and one for actually fighting. And obviously you need things, extra things there, like your BOTs and such for haunting, or for fighting. For haunting, you can actually just go for like an ethereal blade for the agility. You can go for radiance and diffusal blade for the damage output there. Like obviously the refresher orb you can put on the courier and then only take it off when you need to refresh.
Well.
Scotty's great. So what else do you look for here? Do you look for the illusions to crit? They do.
I was thinking, like you mentioned earlier, the butterfly or maybe a crit, I guess.
Sure.
But obviously the stats are better for the haunt, which was actually reduced by 10% in the last patch. Okay, well, we'll finally see a smoke, but yeah, I think I just agree with you. She'll probably get 8 slotted if this game keeps going on, and why make a choice when you can just buy all the items?
All of them.
Complexity TP's out back to where they started, so they landed on the space. They had to go 3 spaces back, and this board game is going to be delayed a little.
Yeah, but finally they'll be seeing some people on the map here. It is a bait, but it is at least 1 hero that gives them some idea. Mind games within mind games. Spectre farming across the map, everybody else hiding, but now Chobi reveals himself. Big Num as well. So they feel confident to go back to their jungle, pick up a few more items here, and they look for their hyper late game as well. Definitely looking at Enigma to pick up a refresh orb in the hyper late game. A Blink Dagger presumably as well, though he has been holding on to that lack of item for quite some time.
Ags for Z Freak as well. Would be unreal.
I agree, but at the same time, Bignum and Chomi have been BKBing before the fight begins almost all the time. Like the brew actually BKBs then blink. And uses his power
but if they make a mistake, like realistically, I feel like Album Sheet probably have the game if it goes late, but Complexity with their big ultimates, you know, if they outmaneuver, if they force a mistake, Complexity can still win, but if I had to bet right now, I'd probably put my money on Album Sheet.
I would say for Z-Freak, a Sheepstick would do the exact same thing as an Agnum Scepter in this game. Like, I feel like if you're picking somebody off and surprising them with the fact that they don't have their BKB currently active, they might as well be a pig compared to within the Static Storm. Like, there's definitely some value with the Agnum Scepter.
Every hero needs one.
I think that the Ags is really powerful, but right here you're not finding opportunities where like you can catch multiple heroes before they pop BKBs. There's only 2, and only one of them has a chance of not BKBing before the fight. So I think Hex is all the same, but that's just my opinion. And right now he's just a ward bitch. Like he's got 400 gold. Like we can talk about luxury items all day long.
Yeah, he's not getting anything. Well, we're talking hyper late.
Yeah,
man.
70 minutes. He's still going to be at 400 gold buying wards.
He's going to be 6 slotted, dude. I guarantee
hard
it.
carry disruptor.
Razor can start buying wards soon.
True. That's a fair point.
Or Clockwork looks to be going for a heart, which is good, I guess. Thunder God's Wrath, the complexity of that to their advantage. They can throw that every 90 seconds and scout and stop. Even if they don't scout and they just reveal an area on the map, then that means Album Sheet has smoke, so complexity will always sort of know what's up. Playing very defensive and farming Blaze.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
Right now, there's only 1 smoke available left for Album Sheet for another 9 minutes. They use it here on these 3 heroes, actually 2 heroes. So
Chat.
yeah, no more blazing for them. Their stash is empty. But
No Blaze, no Blaze, no life.
But we do see might be enough to bait in the Razor. Like, this is the perfect opportunity to jump on somebody, to force that forward to telekinesis, but the problem is they don't know what's around the river bend. They have a ward here, but they don't know if it's a bait or just a really stupid move from Moonmeander. In the end, they don't take an opportunity. Spectre keeps farming because she can always haunt in, and she will hold on to the Refresher Orb and take up an item slot for now. So it's going to be Chomi in the pit, dropping down this exorcism, but it should be scouted out. No, the ultimate Thunder God's Wrath still on cooldown.
What complexity? You're the Dire. Man up. Contest your Dire advantage. Are you real man or not?
I don't know.
What's going on?
Aegis
This is
skill
the second
time?
Roche
Nah.
that Chomi
The haunt.
has just stolen from you, man. You gotta step up. You gotta smash a lunch tray over someone's head. They're just getting pushed around right now. Oh, the hook on a Big Num, though. He took the cheese. They can maybe force the use here. Limp gonna get silenced up. Big Num, they're gonna try to bring him down quickly. There's the Hex out from Swindle, but BKB now, this is gonna be a couple bit of... Okay, no, he's not gonna use it to brawl. He'll go with that. Now the Haunt comes out. No Desolate damage because they're grouped. Another hook back towards the allies. That's Clockwork trying to escape. Maybe drop the cogs here. And they will disengage because everyone in this game is a pansy.
Yep, so...
That's unfair to say, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
I mean, in that situation, like, there was no good fight for Album Chief.
Yeah,
there was a good disengage, and I got there. So in the end, no more blood is shed. It is 23 to 29, but with that ultimate down, actually both haunts on cooldown, this is completely the best shot. Like, even against the Aegis on the Death Prophet and the Cheese and the Brewmaster, they still should feel pretty good about going into this season, as long as they don't group up. As long as they make sure that they mitigate the damage of the Ice Blast, which is on top lane, so it's coming down. This could be actually a big opportunity for the Brewmaster to jump in, or it's just going to be 15 seconds of delay before they go for the push again after they mech up.
I mean, what is 15 seconds and what is already 30 minutes of delay? I think Riser needs to sell us Medallion to get a blink. Like, yeah, the Haunt's going to be disabling it for the most part, but he really needs to jump in and get a black hole. Like, that's the only way I think they win this game.
I don't know.
They're trying to push the Hydra. They got
right
the
now.
Eye of the Storm working on it. There's a Javelin in the stash for Moon Meander. He's got the Heart, so he needs to just back off so he can try to regen up here. Rubik looking for a Spell Steal. Doesn't have anything in his arsenal right now. And I think it's Complexity backing off. Gold, 2,000 advantage, experience. They've still maintained, for the most part, their 10, 11,000 XP advantage, but that's just the supports from Album Sheet having literally nothing. And one of the supports for Complexity being an Enigma, so...
Both sides afraid to really pull the trigger here. It really is down to the wire here. I mean, the tension is palpable. They know that any mistake could be their last, and they just don't want to go down that road. So for now, it is more cautious play. They're looking for that just opportunity of a lifetime, but it hasn't presented itself to them just yet. So they're going to wait out the cooldowns. One ultimate backup for Inquisitor, looking for the next one in about a minute. And by then, he's going to have another item. So he should have BOTs, or if he's working on a 7th item slot, you can always pick that up. So right now, we're going to see Chomi hiding his sheepstick. He's already got a lot of items up his sleeve, but he actually has enough money to buy the Hex right now, just making sure that he can... Oh, he has 3,300 unreliable. Like, there's not actually that much benefit for holding it right now, but if he harms up a little bit more, then he won't have to worry about not having buyback, which even with the Aegis can be a concern at this stage in the game. But we'll see. Movement. Moonmeander does finish up that MKB. Is that enough for them to look to go?
He agrees with me, Blaze, going for the monkeys. Although, actually, you kind of swayed me. I liked your idea with the Refresher. But I don't think either of them are really bad. And Refresher, let's say they actually contest a Roche at some point during this game and get an Aegis. No longer will Eye of the Storm persist through that respawn, so that's nerfed a little bit. Maybe more for the MKB, but whatever. Big item choice, a bit of progression there for the Razor, and we'll see if they can do anything with it as game has stagnated. We're an hour in right now.
What's an hour of awesome Dota 2 between
6.82 hours. That's the next patch.
Yes.
I'm still salty, guys.
Dire's
And I
middle
always
tower
will
is
be
under
until
attack.
6.8 something else.
It's better than it was. 6.82C is awesome by comparison, so I'm not
That's
complaining.
true.
Dire's middle
We'll see
tower
the
has
cheese
fallen.
available for Big Num. Looking to go a little bit manly or pandily, as the hero may be.
I like it.
And they do have Nokia in a good position where he can still get a good broad Ice Blast. Like, he can still cover pretty much the entire area that they look to defend the racks with, and that's a good distance to be at. So he's looking to bring in the artillery fire, and they do have both ultimates now for the Spectre. Bring in the Sheepstick. It is on the the courier though, and he's probably gonna drop these brown boots at this point. Like, I don't even know what else. Like, either wait for the Aegis to despawn, which actually is gonna be very soon, about 35 seconds.
Yeah, it's like 30.
And
I think they might just keep the Husky around in the tree line or something, and then deliver it. I think that's exactly where it's going. Actually, where I drew. No, it's gonna turn around.
Sneaky.
Okay. An album sheet back off, so I guess I don't need to put the courier on the front lines either. There's 2,000 gold, so Chomi could finish those boots of travel if he really wants them. I just really would like to see those boots gone or upgraded, but whatever. Basher. Spectre's going Abyssal Blade right
Double
now,
Abyssal.
So
you got the refresher orb. Make use of it.
That's gonna be big. If she'll probably drop the refresher though to pick the Abyssal. Wouldn't you think?
Dire's bottom
Maybe.
tower is under attack.
Maybe. I would actually use my Haunts, then drop the Diffusal Blade, and then pick up the Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, okay, that would
Because
actually be
Diffusal
pretty...
Blade sucks on Spectre naturally. Like, it's only good with her illusions. So after the Haunts are expended, you reality in with the second Haunt, that's when you drop the Diffusal. And she's actually just doing it already. She's actually making the swap beforehand. So she sells the Diffusal Blade, doesn't see much more value. I mean, it's not that... Diffusal 2 was so much better in 6.81.
Yeah, like Diffusal 1 is better now, but Diffusal 2 is definitely falling flat compared to what it was before. So that item's in a weird place.
Yeah. I wish they would just like make the mana burn be even less of an impact and just make it so you can get the perfect mechanic.
You have
for
to keep
supports.
nerfing it because then it would make illusion heroes too strong. So they should almost do like half mana burn on illusions and then just make the item
Exactly,
better.
but
I think that's the way to do it.
more
Or just
convoluted
remove illusion
rules.
heroes
Is that the
'cause they
answer? I don't
suck.
know.
Remove illusion heroes, Blaze. That's the answer. Make Dota better. Remove PL, Naga, and Terrorblade.
So Enigma's got 2 Shivas, 2 Midnight Pulses, 2 Black Holes. Theoretically, could have 4 stacks of Midnight Pulse on somebody with the fact that Aghanim Scepter. Well, just is 3 at a time, but then the second one you get the full duration. So that's like 6 stacks. Right? No, it's not, because you have to Black Hole before you refresh. So first it's going to be 2 stacks. Bear with me here. 2 stacks of Midnight Pulse with the first Black Hole. And then because it lasts long enough, you're going to have 3 stacks with the second. So that's 5 Midnight Pulses if you get the perfect combo off. 5 Midnight Pulses.
Because that'll happen. Because he hasn't even got a Black Hole off in the last 40 minutes.
You just gotta believe.
Details.
Just gotta
Riser's
believe.
got this.
They'll pull out their pocket.
I want to believe.
It's
So this game won.
Kamikaze, Vengeful Spirit, who blinks in and then swaps the Enigma to victory.
Alright, well, we'll see. We continue to wait. Enigma still has a medallion, of which they haven't even been able to use to actually do Roche. I think they got the first one, but it's back when I was a young boy. I can hardly remember. It's been so long. Aloha Dance. They've actually smoked up. They're looking for a pickup here. Album Sheet may be the first to do something. They will find
Bought
Riser.
out.
This is his
No
opportunity.
buyback. Riser. What have you done,
Stack
sir?
Black Hole. Will he throw it? No, I think the exorcism still bring him down regardless. Cogs go out. Lemp tries to get the save, and, well, we'll be able to jump out. Nice Ice Blast. We'll actually hit him, but just going to send him back to the well. Is there a... yeah, of course there is. An Aghanim Scepter there finally on No Fear.
Yeah. That's
Boots of Travel finally as well for Death Prophet, so I feel a lot better about myself.
yeah. He's hanging on. He's actually gotten the upgrade there, but I think they'll swap the cheats around if they feel necessary. There's been a lot of brown boots this game for a very long time, but finally we see most of them coming to a close, and this might be the final battle here. Complexity, they have no Enigma, and that's their big linchpin in these fights. I said it 30 minutes ago, but Razor and Enigma are their late game heroes. Like, obviously there's some value in positioning, control, and disable from all members of Complexity, but Enigma's the big one, and Razor's the one who damages behind that. Without a refresher orb, I really feel they could go right up here, right now, up to high ground, but the question is, does Enigma have buyback? We know he doesn't, but do they? And if they even think that there's a 50-50 chance that he does have buyback, they are too afraid to go, so...
I mean, I don't really... What can even, like, hold him in place? Enigma still has no mobility. Even if he buys back, I feel like he just disengaged. Maybe Clock Hook's a person, but... I don't know. And Album Sheet are actually still behind. Even if they went up and, like, threw 5 bodies and didn't win anything, Complexity won't gain that much. Because they're the victors, alright? Kills when you're a victor are not that worthwhile. You'd rather just be farming. But they will try to push down. Now it's Complexity that are actually running the risk of giving out some of that rubber band gold, and that would replenish definitely the Rubik, the Ancient Apparition, put them a little more online as they're suffering a bit. Obviously, Disruptor's suffering the most, but the other support there is Enigma, and he's doing quite okay. He's 5th overall on net worth as this game continues.
And we got 2 more to go, perhaps. We'll see. But at least for now, Game 1 is turning out to be just this nail-biter. Both sides have so much potential to take the game, but it all comes down to the pickoff. It all comes down to that big opening. I thought the Enigma would be the word go, but again, the threat of buyback and TPing in for a black hole, which is like worth 3 blink daggers if you get it right, is just too much. Too much, and they do not go for the big one. Now, they aren't even like using the Manta Illusions to split push. Like at this point, you would want Manta and Necrobook on Inquisitor just to throw them out at the tier 3. Let's get some damage in.
Necro as well.
But
they're looking for Big Num. They'll throw an ult. They don't find it. Do you think Swindle just goes for Refresher here as well?
yes, and he needs the double hex.
Actually, I don't know if I even care what the heroes build at this point.
He needs a double hex.
We'll figure it out.
So
Sorry for my dog. It's barking.
it happens. He's impatient for the game to end too, but you know, just gotta.
I think he was
stick
saying.
with it.
I think he was saying "Ice Frog, please" in dog speak.
Exactly. But yeah, Refresher definitely has to come out for Swindle, but he needs the buyback behind it. Hex does come out for the Brewmaster, so not only being the Aura King, but now bringing in the Sheepstick. Does mean that his rulings, and like there comes a point in the game where Primal Split isn't even worth it, and because he didn't pick up an Aghanim Scepter, he's getting to that point sooner rather than later.
Point.
Because
I actually don't like Aghanim Scepter Brew. I'm going to be completely honest.
I agree to disagree, but at the same time,
I think it was better previously when it just lasted longer.
Yeah.
It was better in the middle game, in the mid game, I think, with the previous Ags.
Drunken Haze is too good not to have during split. There's a time frame where Drunken Haze doesn't exist on your Brewmaster, then your Brewmaster is not fulfilling his duty in my mind. But now he's up against MKBs, maybe it's a moot point. The bottom line is right now, if he splits at all, he wants to make sure that he's using it for disable, not for damage, because right now Brew can hit harder than even the Fire Panda. So I think it's really important that Big Num keeps in mind when he actually splits and doesn't just automatically, just go through the motions of blink, BKB, Hex, and Split. I think he can do a lot of work in his full Panda form. We're going to see a Split Push come out for Inquisitor, and this has to be answered by Complexity. They have to send up like 2 heroes to answer this. Like one hero, unless it's the Razor, won't be able to answer it directly. But they're on this time bomb. They're saying, okay, well, they'll just go. We know that he's not in. Obviously, he can haunt in, but maybe we can glimpse him back when he does. So for now, it's going to be the Manta Illusions pushing on the tier 3, and here comes the Smoke Initiation.
No, fine. Show me. There's the Haunt going out. Meander with the BKB, taking a lot of damage, up to over 100 already. Riser, though, is going to fall, dying to the Exorcism. Now it's over onto Meander. He's taking a lot of damage, but can he find any hits on anyone? Shomi's very fast right now. The Lightning will go out. It's Complexity that have lost 3 already. As the Rubik will BKB up. Rubik has a BKB, guys. It is 69 minutes into this game right now. And Shomi, excuse me, Moon Meander will find the double kill, but Big Num's actually just going to stand and fight. And he won't
look at the base, look at the
He's
base.
got Drunken Haze, and the base is starting to fall apart. You've got massive creep waves at this point in the game. Razor has to buy back just to defend, and its album sheet, well, possibly winning this game. Very small games here still.
Buys back and
small games
TP's
at the
bottom.
70
I think
minute.
he's trying to like snatch the Aegis if Roche was on the menu for album sheet. But they scout out with the Rocket Flare. He doesn't get the opportunity to hook in or anything like that. He still wants to make this buyback worthwhile though.
Cogs, nicely done.
Oh,
Snacking
jeez.
it all. Swindles is gonna die though. Like, this Death Prophet hurts a lot. She right clicks for almost 300 damage.
Where
Spectre
is
with
he?
burn. We'll find Swindle. Swindle's just gonna die. He can't blink. He can't get out of it. So you can Yules to delay it, and he will delay it a little bit longer. Razor's here
She's
now.
turned
but
off her.
Swindle's
Why'd she turn
dying.
off her Radiance? Why'd you turn
I
off
don't
her
know.
Radiance?
Oh, she's found out. She's got to turn it back on now. BKB on Swindle, not going to take any more damage to that Radiant. She can't get out. He'll blink away. I feel like mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Inquisitor is still down here. There's damage being zapped away, but Big Num and Chomi are back on the scene. Meander's in some trouble. He's got Eye of the Storm. We'll hex him up again. Try to bring it back. Try to kill attacks from Z Freak, but no Aghanim Scepter there. Oh my gosh, Swindle comes back into the fray of it, gets brought down to almost 100. Who's left is Limp, the poor soul with the cogs trying to just control everybody. And now the Primal Split's going to go off again. Boulder, they look for Zeus, they can't get him. Swindle too hard to lock down with that Blink Dagger. And Limp's also going to be able to get out here. The Brewlings easily cleaned up because they are useless at this point. Sure, the Earth Panda takes a while to go down. Swindle, Ice Blast is going to miss.
How is he still alive?
That wouldn't have worked anyway, Swindle. It applies the debuff.
They haunt him.
Finally go down to the haunt. Inquisitor gets it. Now buyback on the Zeus. His ultimate's up in a minute. He buys Boots of Travel to come back into this fight, but the Clockwork, that's a dieback. A delayed dieback for the Clockwork as Riser BKBs. He thinks about using a spell he's never used in the last 40 minutes. Not really his fault. It's a difficult game to do it, but it is the truth. 31-30.
Base.
He'll try to back off as the game continues.
Mid
but
lane.
Album Sheet closing gaps, big time.
BKB comes
Yeah,
out to
Top Racks have
disrupt the
actually fallen
glimpse here.
completely.
Still did some damage, or attempted to do some damage to the tier 3, but yeah, in the end, it's just going to be the top lane that gets taken care of. Now, actually going to be a Yules against the Death Prophet, and they have some potential here, but the Exorcism flying around, they don't want to tango with that one. My goodness, these team fights have just been absolutely absurd. The fact that Swindle Melons lived through all of that. I actually think the Spectre turned off her Radiance to pretend that she TP'd away. I think she wanted to give them the idea, or the misconception, that she had not only jumped into the trees, but then had just been
Yeah, I think she saw them all
out of the fight the
approaching.
whole time. So, interesting maneuver. In the end, it lets the Zeus live for far longer than he should have, but hey, no matter the case, the Clockwork diebacks and the Roast will fall to the side of Album Sheet, as well as the fact that they're taking the top lane. So, they're looking really good right now. It was very awkward in a couple of aspects here, but the bottom line is Radiant haven't had to buy back at all. It's on Complexity to force this next maneuver, and it looks to be on Ancient Apparition. The Hex comes out, the Glimpse as well. BKB is back off cooldown though, and she uses BOT. She could just BOT. Why isn't she BOTing? She's gonna die.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why, because there's black holes here. This is the first one we've seen in a long
She can outrun a Enigma with no
Quickly
blink.
bring her down,
I'm
but that's
sorry.
black hole for the ages. The Refresher is here. He's going to throw it again. Rubik stole it, but he'll die immediately. Riser needs to throw another one. He's thinking about maybe not wanting to use it, but there he will throw it. Chomi is going to die. And does have buyback available. Respawning at 100 for both Rubik and her with buybacks. The Brewlings are going to go out. What is they're not going to do anything? Like we already talked about, the Brewlings are not worth a whole lot right now. Aghanim Scepter or not, and they will sheep up. Oh, the Abyssal Blade, they're stacking the stuns a little bit on Moon Leander, but it will be enough to bring him down. They've refreshed. Another Haunt is going to go out now. Take that Haunt, they sheeped up, has another 1 second to do it, and will actually find it. Takes to the Zeus, there's the refreshed Abyssal, and that's got to be the GG coming out right now. Another Hex now, Limp goes in, and that's just gonna end the game. Only Enigma with buyback. Game 74 minutes. It took a while, but Album Sheet able to come back.
Two heroes without 100 seconds before they can respawn. Inquisitor BOT's in, and they are going in for the kill. This has been a long one. This has been a tough one, but in the end, the heroes that should have taken the late game probably 20 minutes ago, they take the hyper late game. Look at that graph. It just shot up from 2,000 gold disadvantage to 15,000 gold advantage for Album Sheet. They finally take game 1 of this best of 3 series here in 74 minutes. Absolutely absurd back and forth. Some very interesting decisions across the board, but the bottom line is the black holes were insufficient. There is no mobility on this Enigma other than one Force Staff from the Clockwork, which I don't think he even used on his ally at any point in time. So yeah, I really feel that a lot of this is on the fact that Riser couldn't close in. Blink, Force Staff, anything to control movement, because as it was, he was just too damn slow. But the bottom line is Album Sheet, they were able to take it late, and here we are here, 74 minutes in, and 1 point on the board for Album Sheet here in this best of 3.
Yeah, took too many minutes of gameplay to analyze, but Album Sheet with that first win here in the quarterfinals, the upper bracket, best of 3 between Album Sheet Complexity. We'll get into game 2 pretty soon here. You're watching the Synergy League Europe. Casting by myself, Helium. You can follow me Twitter or Twitch at Heliumbrella here. Blaze at Blaze Casting. You'll see it there in the top right. Make sure to give us a follow. Let us know what you thought about the games, criticism, whatnot. We love to hear from anybody that will tell us things. And we'll be back for game 2, so stay tuned here. Twitch.tv/Synergy League.